My amazing Walking Dead cup.
You did that on purpose.
Yes, I did.
All right, fine. We're keeping it in. Welcome back, everyone, to the Graveyard Shift, where two idiots talk horror. I'm your host, Hayden, and today I'm with my co-host, Graham.
Hello.
Better for you?
We're getting better.
Yeah, we're slowly.
Today we are talking about Donnie Darko.
Yes,
Darko. I keep wanting to say Darko.
it's Darko.
Darko. You pick this
Think
movie.
like Draco from Harry Potter, but the letters are a little bit rearranged in the middle. So it's Darko, not Draco.
I just when you very first said it, I thought you said Darko. So you pick this movie.
Yes. I picked this movie for Easter.
Yes. Mostly because those happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I mean, there was some religion stuff inside. Ooh.
Yeah,
There's some religion inside this movie too.
another reason why I chose it.
Do we want to quickly explain what's going to be happening during the month of May?
You want to? We can. I don't care.
I figured we could do it here, and then we can also make a separate video that I can record on my computer,
Yeah, we could probably do that.
and so that way, yeah, that can be our test. So,
I need to take some ibuprofen after this.
yeah, I have some.
Well, we'll do it after.
Okay.
If my headache gets worse, then I'll let you know.
I have Advil in my room.
Oh. Well, we'll do that if it gets worse.
Okay. So during the month of May, Hayden will be busy with work. So I will be joining 3 special guest stars for 3 separate topics, obviously, and I'll be doing all the editing and all that stuff. So sorry if things aren't as professional looking. I quite literally at this point do not know how to edit because that's what we're going to do next.
Yeah, I'm the one who does all the editing
Yes,
and the artwork.
and the artwork because you're a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So
Now you get to do it.
I'm not doing the artwork.
No, you're not gonna do the artwork. We have one. I can show you how to do the thumbnails. It's easy. So plug and play.
I didn't even think about the thumbnails.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do the thumbnails too.
I didn't even think about that.
But
Anyway,
those ones we can change. I can change it so that way it's the silhouette of the guest if you want me to.
well, I don't care about that. Could you make the thumbnails already? Just quickly make the thumbnails of the 3 topics.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Okay, and you can just send that to me, and I can PDF, and I can just do all that.
That's easy.
So yeah, so we're going to be covering 3 different topics. 3 really good topics inside the horror community, and one of them is my favorite thing, which is going to be The Walking Dead. We're going to have an episode on that.
You and The Walking Dead.
Dude, it's my favorite, one of my favorite shows. That and the Doctor Who.
Which, and here I am with Supernatural.
Yes, I suddenly watched that.
Yeah,
we need to do an episode on that.
Oh, I got several episodes.
I want to watch the Wendigo episode.
Which one?
The Wendigo in season 1.
Yeah, we can do that. Because Kaylee would definitely join on.
Yeah. Well, Until Dawn. That's what I always think of Wendigo. Until Dawn. But yeah, so that's exciting for the month of May. Things may not be as professional as they are now, but it'll be good.
This is professional?
I meant the actual editing and all that. Can't promise I'll do my best. Well, I will try my best.
Dude, I can show you how easy it is.
I know.
I have it set up to where it's easy to plug and play. I haven't done any of the major editing.
Good. You still need to edit the 5 Nights at Freddy's.
I know, that's the one that takes major editing. And with I keep forgetting to do it too. We might need to close that door. Your parents
go home.
Yeah, your parents are home, so I think we might need to close that door.
You want to pause the recording? You showing me gap.
We're paused right here. All right, we're back.
Yeah, so my parents just got home. Yeah, so that's the month of May. Some exciting stuff, some fun movies, some fun special guest stars, and yeah. We're also not going to be video.
No, you're going back to doing the audio.
Yes.
The only reason why he's not doing video is because I'm the one with the camera. He's not.
That and
where it's placed.
Yes, it's in a different place. Once I get that area set up, we can show it.
Yeah, we can pretty much set it over in the other place.
I meant like once I have my computer desk clean and everything, we can like show it off if we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to move the backdrop and the lights. That's just going to be a big pain in the butt because I have an actual PC that you can't really move on a good base.
Yeah. You need to get a bigger monitor.
Well, it's just costs money.
Yeah, well, good. I don't know, Goodwill or something, or
I thought about Goodwill.
Facebook Market.
There's one on Amazon that I like that's only like 180.
Get a TV screen. Use a TV screen as your monitor.
Yeah, I could.
You can look up ones like
I think
I
we
don't
have
know, a
some.
34, 32 inch.
I think we have some.
34. Were they saying 30, 32 or 36? I think it is.
I was gonna get a 32.
Yeah, you just put that in there.
Yeah, I'm also gonna be moving the Xbox over there too.
Okay.
Anyway, hello, welcome back.
We are so not professional. That is staying on. That's staying on.
Okay, you need to lead this podcast because I
You haven't watched the movie.
wasn't gonna say that to them.
I was. I'm gonna call you out.
Okay, so I'm gonna start calling you out when you don't watch.
That's fine. You already called me out. I've already called myself out. Come on.
Um, I watched a whole bunch of video clips, but I kind of ran out of time this week, and I'm also confused.
I watched it this morning.
Okay, you watched most of the movie this morning.
Most of the morning. Most of the video this morning. I had to. I know how it ends in the last 15 minutes. It's before, like in the middle, is where I don't quite remember much of it. I guess because it just drags on. And also, there's one scene that I kind of hate.
Oh, we're gonna definitely be talking about that scene.
All right.
All right. Anyway, so you start.
So we're today's episode is on Donnie Darko. So if no one really, I don't. What year was this?
Did it say 2001?
No, it is not a 2001.
No.
Donnie Darko is not 2001.
Is it? We need Kelly.
Holy shit, it is a 2001.
I'm pretty sure it's 2000.
I thought it was like 90s. Because the style of it looked like 90s. Interesting. All right. So it's a 2001. It's not quite horror. It is a more psychological horror in a way.
But like, you know,
And it's more like it's like the Shining premise.
Yeah, and that's kind of the vibes I got from it too.
Yeah. It's more of the premise of The Shining, where it's not like killing or haunting. It's more of just it messes with your head.
Yes. But those are the movies I like.
Yeah.
Because
I'm surprised Kaylee didn't want to watch this because you want her for the Shining one.
For the miniseries, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think we need to do that in December. That'll be really good.
Well, that's if I could pull it off. Remember, because I got the honeymoon.
Well, remember, we can record the stuff Thanksgiving weekend.
True. Or if I have time on the honeymoon, just do it on Discord.
Do you really want to do that though? I figured we just take a Saturday and come up to my house, and then we watch part one of the miniseries, do the episode on that, watch part two, do the episode on that, to watch part three.
We can try.
I mean, yeah, it's going to take all day, but like, that way we're watching it back to back, and we don't have to worry about trying to remember things in between.
You're gonna have to edit those ones then.
That's fine.
Maybe. Depending.
I'm saying you still don't need to do a lot of editing.
No.
But then that's the entire month of December right there, besides like maybe a New Year's episode.
That also.
And we can do that after.
I should be back after. Yeah. I should be back after Christmas.
Yeah, and we can do that after your honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot easier to do that than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we can't do Gremlins 2 like we want to, but we can always put that off for another year.
Well, Gremlins 2 isn't a Christmas movie.
How it was?
No, first one's a Christmas movie. Gremlins 2 is not.
Okay. So we can do Gremlins 2 whenever then.
That was an entire side rant right there.
We're professionals.
God, we are.
I'm really curious how it's going to go with my 3 special guest stars and the amount of times I get off track.
If you guys ever get off track, I can see like, Graham, you're doing it right now.
See, my mom will My mom will like get me focused. Miranda will go off the sidetrack with me.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ben though.
Ben will probably run like May.
Yeah, him and I will just have these deep
You know, the,
conversations
yeah,
in the middle of the podcast.
yeah. We
Okay, so
are professionals.
this is why it's called Two Idiots Talk Cool.
I know this is why it's called Two Idiots, is because we can't keep track.
No, this is why eventually we get two ADHD people inside the room.
Why don't we just name it ADHD horror?
You know what I also realized we never did?
What?
We did a test run, but we never actually listened to the audio on that.
Well, I already know that the mic's working because I can see the bar from here. Let's get back to it.
Okay, you
So, so Donnie Darko is a psychological horror, and how it starts off is we get introduced to Donnie Lane in the middle of the road on a mountainside, and I have to admit the scenery there is perfect wherever he lives.
yeah. From my scene, yeah.
Because just watching the sunrise on the mountains, oh yeah, I'd envy him right there.
See, for me, I've always liked sunrises on the ocean.
Yeah, I'd prefer the mountains.
Yeah, I'm not a mountain person though.
Don't get me wrong, I've watched those sets on the ocean. They're not bad.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to sit there with the entire wind blowing from the ocean.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a nice day.
Yeah. Anyway, so we see Donnie, and he wakes up, and then he starts heading back into town, and this is where we get introduced to him sleepwalking, like he does throughout this entire movie. Well, apparently he's sleep biked or sleep pedaled. I don't know what you would.
I think
He rode a bike to wherever he was.
Bike.
So somehow he managed to do that while sleeping, and so he's pedaling back home. We get to see his town and his house, and
It's a really cool way to introduce the setting.
oh yeah, introduce how the town looks and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
everything
Donnie
takes,
as a character too.
yeah, and everything takes place in the town.
Mm.
And then
So he goes back to his house.
He goes back to his house, and then we see on the fridge, where is Danny? So, if you pay attention to that board, it is a little indication that that this family's curious about him, because he is a schizophrenic? He's someone who could see not visions, but hallucinations during the day. I think it's called schizophrenic. I think that's the correct term, is schizophrenia.
I don't know. I can't think on top of my head what that term is.
I don't know. He sees a therapist in the movie. You need to fix your mic, by the way. Your mic is way too low. Remember, it's your chest plate, not your belly button.
No. More questions.
At least I am.
You're not.
Hey, I'm able to maintain a separate channel that I've been doing for almost 17 years?
You guys just have a video on that.
Yeah, I just did another video.
Repo with Kelly.
Yeah.
Because you stayed up until like 1 o'clock.
No, that's 13 years. I've done it for 13 years.
Well, anyway, so he gets home, and then what happens after that?
I don't like how I'm going down this entire thing by myself. So
the jet engine.
No, it does not jump right into that.
No? Okay.
It has not in the first.
I'm skipping something.
Yeah, you are. You're skipping a lot. I think your mom's coming for us. So, if I remember correctly, Donnie. So this is where we get to see him interact with his family, his schoolmates. First setting is the dinner table, where we get to see how he acts with his family, and he's pretty much picked on by his siblings and his family, but he fights back a little bit.
Also, he's a teenager.
Yeah.
Does it ever say how old he is?
I think he's a senior.
Okay.
Because he's able to drive.
Gotcha.
So I'd say a senior. I can just remember the argument where I can't. I don't know if I should say it on here. What he says.
How bad is it?
Well, he swears. What do you think?
Well, the N-word bad or
No,
okay?
my level.
I mean, you can always say it and take it out if you think it's too
Him,
much.
him and his older sister. I think it's his older sister. They argue, and he calls her what is it, a fuck ass, and she calls him, "Why don't you go suck a fuck?" Somebody says, how does one suck a fuck?" Yeah,
Your type of female.
yeah.
Definitely your type of female.
Mm-hmm. So that is where we get introduced to the family, and I'm guessing it's on the weekend because he doesn't go to school right away. So
Well, you said the sunset.
huh?
The sunset.
The sunset.
Or was it a sunrise?
It was a sunrise.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's
sunset.
during the weekend because he doesn't go to school right away on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
It was after dinner. He sneaked. Everyone questions. His family questions where does he sneak off at night, and they don't realize that he sleepwalks. He sleepwalks at all. They just
Sleep bikes.
or sleep bikes. They just think that he is doing this on purpose. He has no control.
Right.
And
I mean, sleepwalking is a very serious condition.
yeah, I will admit I have sleepwalked when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. There was one time where I sleptwalked out of the house. My parents had to put a padlock on our door.
I did not know that.
Not a padlock, a certain type, one of those hinge locks on the door
Wow.
because for some reason I was able to get out the door. But
That always scares me, sleepwalking.
I didn't know how bad it was when I was a kid. I don't do it as much now, but I have
Right.
done it to where I walked out and we have rose bushes in our front yard,
Mm.
and apparently this was during the time where they actually fell into our sidewalk. You know the pathway up to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stepped barefoot on one. That woke me up.
I had a kid sleepwalking in the middle of nap time one time.
Oh my
And it
god.
was one of those. It was one of those kids like you want them to stay asleep because otherwise they could end up waking up the entire class.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, go back to your cot, go back, lay down.
Because you can't really wake up.
No,
It's bad. Is it bad luck or is it just something that you can't do?
it's just something I can't remember why. It's not bad luck. It's just something you can't do.
You're not supposed to wake up somebody who's sleepwalking. I don't remember why. That's the thing.
I can't remember either, but I just know you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah. I know my dad has tried waking me up, and he says he's never succeeded, but that thorn bush succeeded.
Same with night tails. You can't wake up those kids either,
No.
but you really can't.
You can't wake up anyone. No, because here's the thing. I have night terrors. My mom has night terrors. I get it from my mom. She
You
has.
still have night tails?
I don't notice them. I have like basic dreams, but apparently, according to my
Kevin?
my Kayla and my family, I have a night terror. I have night terrors.
Gotcha.
But my mom gets them to where she will flinch or make noises in her sleep. My dad says to leave her alone. He can't wake her up. But he tries to wake her up if it gets worse to where she's starting to scream.
Right. Right.
I don't do that part. I do more of the whole flinching my body, I guess.
See, I don't know if that counts as a night tail though. Like the screaming would.
It's the whole like you're shaking, like you're doing this, like you're pulsing your arms.
Yeah, but night tails is more like you're talking and like uncontrollable screaming and crying.
Yeah, I don't think I do that.
Yeah.
Not from I've been told I've flinched. I do this.
Yeah. I don't think that's night tails though. And night tails are a lot more common, like between ages of like 6 and 11, something like that. I don't know the exact age.
You can have night terrors at any age. They're just more common. So.
Yeah, that's I said more common.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, they're more common with kids.
Yeah, but that's more nightmares than night terrors.
I'll show you some videos on night tails
Right.
after the episode. Because we did like a whole my psychology teacher in college had a kid who did night tails and she was like really like talked loud about. It was very interesting stuff.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, So then, so he ends up sleepwalking again. So this is where we get introduced to actually see why he was gone. So he's wandering around. Don't quite remember where he went exactly when he walked away. I know he walked down the street, or oh, he ended up on a golf course.
Gotcha.
But we don't get to see the part. But during that night, a jet engine falls into his house and lands in his room. I'm sorry, but his family was very calm during that entire thing.
I mean, but he dies.
Well,
What?
he's not dead.
Oh yeah, but like in this timeline,
We haven't got to that part yet.
I know, but like
This entire movie is basically, from what we've watched in the past two, it is a time. Would you call it earlier?
alternate time reality
Yeah, it's an
thing.
alternate time reality movie.
Which I find it really funny that we covered three of those in
And
a row.
yeah, so in this one, Donnie doesn't realize what he's in. He's able to control it somewhat
Yes.
later on. But in this timeline, he's alive.
Yeah, so we go into a new timeline because they said it was like, what was the terms they used? Like one was like,
with the wormhole, the portal.
oh, I can't think of the term. I'm a very big sci-fi person.
Yeah, I figured you'd like this one.
So like Doctor Who and stuff. So like I'm very big into different timeline type stuff. Um, I can't think of what the term is called. Donnie Darko timeline.
Picture. So if you remember Back to the Future, how there's
So
one.
I know why you're thinking it was in the 1900s because it takes place 1988.
Told you. So if you remember, if any of you have seen Back to the Future, how the main timeline's straight. What Donnie did is without. Sorry for the chair. What Donnie does without knowing is that he goes to this point of the jet engine, comes down and makes a whole new one. Till the very end, and we'll cover this. He ends up back at this point. Well, right now we're good at this point. So he wakes up on the golf field during after the jet engine falls, and when he walks back to his house, his family is so calm that they literally go like, "Hey, look, there's your brother," and little sister's like, "A jet engine fell in your hat in your room." Not even running over and saying, "Oh my God, you're alive."
I can't find the name of the timeline. So that's gonna drive me nuts now.
Focus on the podcast.
I don't know. I can't find it.
Okay, again, focus on where we're at.
Okay, so yeah, so the jet engine falls on the house, and in this timeline of events,
Yeah.
and everyone was calm and not really even relieved.
No, they weren't relieved, and they weren't. They were just calm.
Like, I'm sorry, if a jet engine fell on my sister's house and I find out she was alive, I'll be like crying tears of joy.
Yeah, his family was not.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we couldn't get rid of him. That's basically what they did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really though. I keep going.
So during that entire scene, we see Men in Black come, and they don't even know where the jet engine came from at all.
I mean, we find out later down the movie where it came from.
Oh yeah, we do. But the fact that it landed, that it just came out of nowhere and lands on the house, and they don't know, so they're like, we don't know. Sign these papers. We will pay for all the
Damages.
damages. You messing with the chair.
I know y'all.
Also, my headache is getting worse right now, so I'm trying my best to focus. Um, After that, the family is sent to a hotel. I don't think he sleepwalks after that, but he does end up going to school the next day.
Gotcha.
That is where his friends say, try to say, "Hey, we've been trying to reach you all night. Where the hell were you? Did you die?" And he's like, "Did you not see that a jet engine fell on my house?" And he was like, "Well, you survived into manhood." And then they give him a cigarette. That is typical back then.
Really though.
Yeah.
Um,
After that, we get sucked into his social life to see how he interacts, and he is basically a wallflower.
yeah, and is that when we get introduced to Gretchen?
A little bit further, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, so Gretchen's the love interest
Gretchen's the love interest.
for Donnie
But
Darko.
before we meet Gretchen, before that, I forgot to mention that we got introduced when he was sleepwalking. When we first see him sleepwalking, we get introduced to Frank. Frank's the bunny.
Yes.
Frank's the rabbit.
Now, based on my understanding, Frank was also God.
No,
Oh my. Okay.
Frank is not God.
Okay. So God is a separate entity, not entity, but like separate being.
Separate being, I don't think Frank is God.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get my head wrapped around was like that.
No, I don't think he was God.
So Frank tries telling Donnie,
Donnie.
um, to do things.
His full name is Donald.
Okay.
So think Trump.
So it made me lose my train of thought.
I know.
So Frank is telling Donnie to, do different type of things that could change the timeline.
Yeah, because he tries to warn him that in 28 days, 28 days, 12 hours, or is it
And
11 hours,
I thought it was a 9 in though.
9 minutes, and 12 seconds. And he has that do that written on his arm. I've seen people with that tattoo on there.
Jeez. Okay, cool.
That would be cool to have.
Yeah.
But yes, it is. It's a countdown.
And so like basically on Halloween, October 31st, the road ends.
Yeah.
And it's up to Donnie to save it.
Yeah. But he doesn't know how, nor does he know why.
Yes. And so I think reality the name timeline?
I think what he mean with because if you watch to the very end, the world doesn't really end.
No.
What happens is that his life's going to be ruined, kind of world end.
Yeah.
That's what the problem was.
But we'll get to that when
we'll get to that part.
Yeah, so basically Frank manipulates almost.
Manipulates, but also just tries to show him what he can do and how he can also help him.
So like, doing things that are not necessarily moral, but like that will help the timeline adjust itself to save the road.
Basically,
I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't.
So, like we said with Back to the Future, straight line for the original.
Yeah.
You go down is the one that Donnie's in. Frank is from the original. He's trying to pull him, trying to sell it, basically. He's like Loki.
Okay. Can I do a Doctor Who quote?
Yep.
So people assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect. But actually, from non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. Yes, I did that quote on you.
Yeah, I know you did.
So, but like basically what that means is, like you said, time, a lot of people think time is like this, but in reality, there's different pathways.
Oh yeah, there's different pathways. That's intertwined into the
yes, and so like in Doctor Who, there's multiple realities.
Yeah.
So they visit one reality where, this person's alive and is making like these huge, advancements in the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just really cool to see that type of stuff, and especially inside these type of movies.
Yeah.
Where you can see these different type of timelines.
Yeah.
And how they all interconnect.
Yeah. Basically, if you think about it, this entire premise of the movie is basically describing Doctor Who, Loki, and Back to the Future.
Yeah.
All in one. Kind of. It just shows, and Avengers too, if you think about it.
What is Loki though?
No, I'm talking about Avengers where Tony Stark discovers time travel. The whole
in
jumping
Endgame.
down and then you're able to hop off.
In Endgame.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, that's still Loki.
There's different theories of time travel.
Time travel is very dangerous, though.
Yeah, it's like a butterfly effect. One
Yes,
small thing you
yes.
can. One minute you could step on a butterfly or step on something wrong, and
Everything is thrown off.
everything's thrown off. Early apocalypse. We could be in Planet 10 from DC. Is it Planet 10 or is it Planet X?
I don't know.
I think it's Planet X, which is the whole World War II world.
But like not even that, but there's an episode called "Let's Kill Hitler" in Doctor Who where they try to kill Hitler, and can you just imagine going back in time and you don't know the cause of that? There's this skit I like, where this guy keeps going and like tries to kill Hitler and like things keep going wrong. It's like one time he punches Hitler and it's like he says like now everyone, I don't know, I can't remember. I'll find it. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. You've seen it before. I've sent it to you before.
You might have.
So you keep going. But so we just met Frank. This he's not really a demon.
He's not a demon.
Um,
He is an entity.
but
He's basically a guardian of not a guardian. I guess a guardian. Basically, just this is my best series. Picture Loki from the Loki series. He's the one holding all the timelines. He can pop in whenever he wants and pop out.
okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, so he's not really good, but he's not really bad.
No.
But you don't really know that in the film either.
No.
I'm gonna just my chair here.
So after that we're introduced to his life at school, and this is where everything starts to where we see how he's treated and everything else. And I'm sorry, but the schools back then, jeez.
What do you mean?
The uniforms, the teachers.
Like more strict?
Yeah. Also, you might have a different opinion on this. One of his teachers, the old gym teacher, I guess, is a Bible thumper.
Like doesn't believe it, but it's an atheist?
No, she's like high religious. Because there's a scene where, so there's some new guy in town, and he's trying to show people that there's a difference between fear and love, basically. How he's trying to get everybody saying that you are afraid of doing all this. We need you to show more love. There's a reason why this is the one of the scenes I hate about this fucking movie. But one of the teachers there is very religious to where she tells Donnie Darko's mom that I don't know what you're doing with your kids, but you're raising them wrong. And if you had an ounce of God in you, yeah, you're not going down the righteous path.
Do you think I like those people?
No, I know you don't.
Okay.
I don't know what your opinion is on that. All I know is that is what I get from her, and I just want to slap her.
Yeah, no. See, I don't know if I've said this on before. I may have sent a FNAF episode that you have yet to upload.
I can give it to you to upload.
Is it edited?
No.
Okay.
You can edit it.
No, I'm good.
We'll get the Ben.
Anyway, inside that episode, we talked about my favorite quote: "You do you, I'll do me. We won't do each other, probably." So like, I am very much like, okay, you can be whoever you want to be. That is your decision.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not there shoving it down my throat and like trying to get me to do what you do, I'm fine. Like, just don't shove it down people's throats.
Yeah. And
like I'm very pro LBGT, and I'm very pro all that type of stuff. What?
none. Just go. Keep going.
So like, but that doesn't mean I want to have it shoved down my throat all the time.
Fair.
And I think you kind of like all agreement on that.
I can tolerate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, where was I at? Dude, you're gonna put my hat on, put it on correct. Um, where was I at? Okay, so we're at the school. This is where we get to meet. What's her name?
Legend?
No, the teacher.
Oh,
What's her name? Not the Bible thumper. Drew Barrymore
I'm actually gonna look up the cast list too.
is Drew. We get to meet Drew as one of his teachers, and she's reading off of a book, and this is where we get to meet Gretchen, right? What you said, Gretchen,
Yes.
and she tells Drew Barrymore, I'm just transferred. They put me in the wrong class. So Drew tells her, sit next to any of the boys that you think is the, cute. So she pans the room and lands on Draco.
Darko?
Darko. Jesus. You see what I mean? But it's Draco and Darko. It's the same.
Yeah.
Lands on Darko. And then the teacher tells the girl next to him, get up, move. She's like, damn. She literally played matchmaker right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I was trying to like follow your train of thought where you're going.
I was trying to say she was a matchmaker.
Yeah.
From there on, he built a crush for her.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I like that type of stuff.
Am I still continuing?
Yeah,
Oh,
keep
God, I'm
going.
gonna do this entire movie.
Just until the outside
So
now.
far,
I know the
if,
ending pretty well.
so if you covered a little bit of this, but what are your thoughts so far of the movie?
You know, I like these type of movies. You know, sci-fi horror is like one of my favorite type of things,
Yeah.
and it's sci-fi horror and psychological horror. I love these type of things, and you know, this one obviously gets a lot more religious than The Shining or Silence of the Lambs. Because you know, eventually we do meet God, and we do, you know, see God's plan for what He has for Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
So I love this type of stuff.
Okay. I'm trying my best not to squeak the chair.
Do you switch shows? Because I was not, oh, not squeaking it.
It just keeps sinking.
It's
Um,
$10.
dude, what the hell kind of medicine did you give me?
What?
The Tylenol.
No, I gave you regular Tylenol.
I don't know, I'm waiting for it to kick in. Um, so after that, I don't. She goes to a therapist, and he tells the therapist, "I made a new friend," and she goes like, "Is your friend real or imaginary?" And of course, it's imaginary, and she says his name's Frank. He's a rabbit.
Oh yeah, there's Frank.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a therapist, Dr. Lillian.
Yeah.
You keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, so the therapy sessions are interesting. You
Yeah,
don't
they are.
see a lot of that in these type of movies.
No, you don't. But they do. They could use it.
Oh yeah,
This is why I wish Kaylee was doing, because she could have said that like maybe the doctor was doing it wrong or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping Kaylee would have stayed for that one, because that's when I started watching it today, was at that part, and I was like, you need to sit here and watch this scene.
And she did.
No, she didn't. She just said she didn't want to watch the movie. I thought it wasn't much of a horror. She just didn't want to watch it.
Gotcha.
Um, where's it going? So after that, we end up back at the house again, and he's sleepwalking again. This time, Frank is a little bit more,
Real.
not real, I'd say active,
Okay.
because he's now in control of Donnie,
Yeah.
to where he finds an axe, goes to his school, and bursts a water pipe, and then takes the axe and actually manages to wedge it into a brass statue, and spray paints on the floor. They made me do it, and it's not even his handwriting.
Donnie's.
Yeah,
Or Frank's.
it's Frank's handwriting, not Donnie's.
Okay.
And when Donnie wakes up, he's freaking out. He's like, "Are they gonna know it's me?" He's like, "Frank's telling no one's gonna know it's you."
So Frank, see, Frank is just a very interesting character inside this movie.
His character is more well explained at the very end.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we don't get to know the whole point of Frank till the very end. That's the reason why that builds up to that point.
yes.
But after that, he wakes up, and that's when he gets to meet Gretchen again, and he gets to basically connect with her a little bit more because he has to save her from uh, the school bullies who pick on him. Which I didn't realize Seth Rogen was in. I forgot Seth Rogen was in this movie.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, he's one of the bullies.
I didn't
And
realize that.
he does his usual laugh.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay, now I'm going to rewatch that soon.
it was for like a split second. Like you hear him laugh, and it's like, oh my god, I know who that is. I don't need to see the face. I already know who that is.
I don't know if I know his laugh. Like,
Dude,
not on top of my head.
every movie he plays in, he does his laugh. That's his signature trait.
Okay, I can't think of the top of my head. But I also don't watch a lot of his movies either.
Oh, I got a lot of his movies. One of my favorite movies of his is Paul, the Alien movie.
He does The Hangover, right?
No, he's not in Hangover.
Like, I'm trying to think of movies that he's in, but I can't think of
Wreck-It Ralph. He plays Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay, okay. All right. Yep. We're good. Okay. I'm not good with names. You know this.
Yeah, I'm better with faces. Where is it going? Okay.
What the bullies? Gretchen.
Yeah, that's
save
where
Donnie.
Yeah, he walks her home, tries to ask her out, and then she picks up on it, but then she's very nice. But they bond over that Donnie has what is it called? Has weird emotion traits or something, and apparently her stepdad does it because her stepdad stabbed her mom, and they're in witness protection right now.
So Gretchen may not be even her real name.
No, it's not. Well, her first name is, but the last name's not.
Gotcha.
They changed their last names.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we found out the backstory on her. After that,
I'm sorry, but like, why would you tell someone you really just met
yeah,
that you're in witness protection?
she was very open about that.
Yeah, that's not something you need to be open about.
No, well, back then it wasn't very as concerned as it is now.
That is true. There was not a lot more internet type stuff back then.
Because who knows? Someone could easily be tapping my phone right now, just listening. FBI could be listening, or CIA could be listening, just trying to find somebody here.
Yeah.
They're in the walls. Get them. Next thing you know, some man comes out of the wall.
That'd be kind of creepy because there's a room next to this wall.
Exactly. Are you seriously looking around waiting for somebody else?
Well, I was like, like that wall would make more sense, but also in the basement. So you don't have to dig.
Well, yeah, back then you didn't have to worry about it as much because how's it going to reach the other person?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
If you're in witness protection, don't tell people you're in witness protection.
Not unless you're an idiot. No, there has to be an idiot in witness protection.
No, though I'm sure there have been.
Okay, where were we? I'm trying to remember what happens next.
She tells him he's in witness protection. Yeah. They go back to his house.
No, they don't. She goes back to her house.
He walks to home.
Yeah.
And leaves.
Yeah, then he ends up
sleepwalking.
No, he ends up somewhere.
Trying to think.
Trying to remember because it's not. Next day is I think it's a PTA meeting at the school. So that's where no, it's not the PTA meeting. What happens next? What the hell happens next? Oh. Shit. I'm going to skip ahead to the PTA meeting.
Okay.
So before the PTA meeting, the day before, there is police and the principal, and they're checking everybody's handwriting to match the note of "They made me do it."
Primary universe and Tangent universe are the two universes inside this movie.
Okay,
So I finally found it.
all right.
Yeah, so they're checking the handwriting to figure out who
Who wrote the
wrote the
note?
message.
And everybody holds a grudge against Danny. I mean, not
Donnie.
Donnie. Jesus Christ, you were rubbing off on me. The principal hates him a lot.
I feel like a lot of people hate
A
him.
lot of, well, not everybody hates him. Just mostly like people in
People who know him.
people with authority hate him. The principal hates him.
Parents and sister.
No, the parents and sister don't hate him. It's just like it's mostly the principal and a few other people. The principal hates him enough to where when he writes his note, it looks nothing like with the handwriting because he writes in cursive. And the principal puts a question mark next to his name. And I'm thinking like it was nowhere close.
Right. I mean,
Like how
like people hate, the outcast, and Donnie is definitely an outcast.
well, yeah, he's a wallflower. Everyone hates
Yeah.
the wallflowers. They think that they're the criminals when really they're not. Because the bullies are the criminals. Because one of them tries to, after that whole incident, tries to stab Donnie in the bathroom. Well, at least cut his throat.
That's killing.
Yeah, literally pulls out a switchblade on him. Then we are at the PTA meeting where he's home taking his medicine. That's where he sees Frank again. And Frank tells him, like, don't worry, they don't know it's you. I made sure of it. And
So Frank did something.
Frank was in charge of his body. Frank wrote in his own handwriting.
Well, yeah.
Then this is where we get to meet the PE teacher or whatever or teacher she is, who's the Bible thumper and hates the books that they are teaching in the school.
What book?
I don't remember exactly what book, but it describes what basically happened at the school, how these group of teenagers were messing around, wanted to trash this man's house. So what did they do? They flooded his house and did some other stuff. And that's exactly what Donnie did to the school.
Donnie didn't do it. Frank did.
Well, Frank did it, but he was in Donnie's body.
Yes.
And during that, his parents were like, this has nothing to do with what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, so Frank, will eventually become an entity, but right now he's more like possessing Donnie.
Yeah, he's a figment as of right now.
Yeah. But he'll eventually become the rabbit.
Yeah. Because at this scene, while they're at the thing, Donnie's in the bathroom trying to talk to him, and he's realizing that there's a force field around him, like he can't get close enough.
Gotcha.
And then we figure out later on what the force field is.
The different realities. So Frank is inside the other universe.
It's the universal wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a term in the movie about it. But after all that, Donnie starts going to therapy and then figures out a few other things. That there's a local woman that's, I don't remember, something witch. She's the dead witch or something. I don't remember her nickname.
Okay.
But she was a nun at the school, and she wrote a book on philosophy about time travel and the
Effects?
not the effects. What's the term for popping out of your body? Starts with an A. Apparition?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of.
Is it apparition?
I think so.
I don't know. Either apparition or whatever it is for you to come out of your body. Kind of like that, but it's this like cylinder tube like force field that comes out of your body, and that's like if I had a desire to walk, say, on the other side of the room, there'd be I could see like this field of line that leads me there. Like that's my desire to go that way.
And that's what Donnie does later in the movie.
That's why he does later move, because he actually gets to see it.
Yeah.
So Donnie's a person who can see it, and I always thought, like growing up when I was watching the movie, that he was just high. Literally, I thought he was just high, and this is what he's doing. No, he's actually being chosen to be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like a cloud of. It looks like water, but it's not water.
It moves like water, but it's not water.
Yeah. Did you just pop your neck?
Yeah, upon my neck. My head is killing me, and my neck is killing me at the moment.
No.
Yeah, it's moved to the back of my head, so I'm trying my best here to focus.
You sound like me last night.
Yeah. Where was I at?
The witch, and then we.
Yeah. So there's an old lady. She was an ex nun. She practiced Christianity, Catholic, and for some reason one day she just got up and left. No one knows why. And the theory is later in the movie that she is similar to Donnie. You did this to me.
I
You did this
did
to me.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, that is the theory later on. So he also talks to a teacher of his who reads up on this because he has like a Stephen Hawking book and her book, and they both talk about time travel.
Mm.
And what's your theory on time travel?
What do you mean? Like, is it possible?
Do you think it's possible? Do you believe that there's a certain way to do it? Are you following Doctor Who's logic here? Or are you following other logic here?
See, time travel is such a tricky subject because, like what we said, you step on a butterfly and things could cripple.
Well, that depends. That could be a possibility. That could be a theory. That's a theory.
Yes.
But we don't know if that theory is true.
I do think it's true. I mean, not necessarily stepping on a butterfly, but you change one thing in the past, and that drastically changes the future.
Well, yeah, because you could easily just go to the Back to the Future. I could leave my phone there, and all of a sudden, technology and human society could advance a lot quicker.
Yes, but it can also have dangerous implications.
Yeah.
So there's always the moral, if you could try time travel, could you go back and kill Hitler? And
the Hitler part.
Because this is generally a big question.
That is a big question because that has the bigger impact on history. Yes.
Yes. So what kind of implications would that be? Will the world be a better place, or will someone more evil, more powerful take Hitler's place?
Well, that's if that were to happen, because
Exactly, but you don't know.
no, because he didn't start. Nothing really started until after he came into power.
Yes, that is true.
So if he didn't come into power, nothing that drastic would have happened.
But you don't know who would have came in power instead.
True.
So what if that person was more evil?
Well, would we have known?
Exactly.
Okay, I kind of see your point there, but
exactly. So Doctor Who is very much it's a time travel show. They go back in the past. But he's always respectful of the past and always respectful of what happened. So I'll explain this. There's an episode called Rosa. Any idea who that is about? What famous person is
Rosa
named?
Parks.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
So the doctor and her companions, because this is a female doctor.
Oh, this is a female one?
Yeah. Great episode, by the way. You know, with Rosa Parks and Rosa's trying to start the movement of the bus boycott and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it's been a hot minute since I've seen an episode. But it's one of the Doctor's companions on the bus that Rosa gets on, and that is what causes the bus boycott to start. Is because of one of the Doctor's companions. So if that companion, so in the show, if the Doctor's companion wasn't there at that specific time, at that specific place, that bus boycott wouldn't have happened like that.
Okay.
So, yes, time travel can have good effects
Yes.
in the long run, but it can also have very dangerous ones.
Yeah.
So, time travel is a very tricky subject.
That's if it were to happen like that.
Yes.
That is if we go off that theory.
I mean, yes, those movies that make fun of time travel, and I've never actually seen the movie, but like Hot Tub Time Machine is
Yeah,
probably one of those movies
Hot
that
Tub
take
Time
it.
Machine is one of those butterfly effect movies where one thing could set off another.
Yeah,
But they also proven that there is possible similar outcomes.
think of Back to the Future. Um, well, Marty's dad
Mhm.
punches Biff, and Biff is no longer a bully in the present.
No, he's not. Yeah, he
So just think
becomes.
about that.
Yeah, there's always one outcome that could be changed. Yes.
Yes.
It could also be the whole thing of if you do manage to go back in time and not mess with one thing, you do not have an effect.
That is true. And we see a lot of that case in Doctor Who too.
Yeah. Because, what is it? The Umbrella Academy? I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I have not.
Where they actually go back to like 1950 something. And one of them tries their best not to mess with one thing in history because it might set off a chain reaction.
Exactly.
But still manages to pull that off and it has no effect on it.
So I keep thinking of this Doctor Who episode too. It's called Thin Ice. It follows the 12th Doctor. And inside the episode, though, him and his companion at the time all what year was it? Or some ice fail inside London.
Yeah.
Back when like the Thames would be frozen over and stuff.
Okay.
And so, Bill is like, asking all these questions like, okay, what if I step on the Belfry? And the doctor's like, nothing will happen. Of course, he's a doctor and makes fun of it too. But, episodes like that focus on, different time period where, things don't change. And he actually saves that type of history.
Okay.
But then you also have episodes like Vincent and a doctor, where the doctor tries to change Vincent's outlook on life, but ultimately fails.
Okay.
Inside that episode, he takes Vincent into the present to a museum dedicated to Vincent, like an exhibit dedicated to Vincent, and ultimately fails at what he was trying to do.
Okay.
So does that kind of like answer your?
A little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I've always thought about like if it was possible to go back in time, could I change something? Because
I mean, there's always
if
that question.
yeah, because here's the thing: if I were to ever go back in time, let's say before I met Kaylee, okay, there have been multiple opportunities that her and I could have met.
But you also have to think about this. You interact with yourself?
I know you can't interact with yourself because you
Yeah.
cause paradox,
Yes.
or some people call some. I know there's one show that makes fun of paradoxes, and it's like, don't you mean a temporal paradox? No, a pair of socks. and he's got to put the pair of socks on.
But like Doctor Who obviously has a lot of paradoxes and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's that always happens if you were to meet yourself. But if you didn't meet yourself, like I couldn't just go back in time and tell myself like, hey, text this girl, here's her number, kind of thing.
Right.
But I could have like texted you or Miranda or somebody I would have known.
Or you could have just like hypothetically met Kaylee at a bar.
Yeah, I could have casually just gone up and met her.
Yeah.
And then but here's another thing. That means past me wouldn't have known that. So she could have been texting me, and then I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So there's always that question of
You wouldn't want
and
to mess with your old self. You would want to find a way for things to happen to your old self.
Yes.
Not you just have things go at your. So it's tricky. I wouldn't want to pull a prank on myself. I want the prank to be known.
Right.
Okay. I want to be able to know what's going to happen. I wouldn't want something to happen.
Right.
I guess that makes kind of sense. A little
Yeah.
bit. Or maybe I would like to know about the surprise party. I wouldn't want the surprise party to happen.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay, back to where we were, because Jesus, that was a big side rant, and we are already at 59 minutes.
Please, I'm no more than halfway through the movie.
A little bit. So after that, we get introduced to another. After the PTA meeting, we get introduced to another character, which is the guy who is new to the town, trying to tell people about fear and love, and he's trying to basically tell this whole town, like, "Hey, don't be afraid, love each other," kind of deal.
I mean, that's a good philosophy on life. Like,
Yeah, but he tries to tell people that these are the only two choices in life.
gotcha. No,
No,
no.
there is more than one. There's more than two choices in life,
Yeah.
and that's what Donnie knows. Donnie's trying to tell people, trying to tell everyone, especially his teachers, like there's more than just fear and love. You have different other outcomes.
I
And
mean, those hope, those. Okay, all I can think of is hope right now.
hope would fall under love apparently in the movie.
Oh, okay.
But like there's other emotions, and when the teacher calls him out, says, "I don't like you need to choose an answer. I don't like how you're acting." And then he straight tells her, "You can take your theory of this entire thing and shut it up your own ass." Gets called to the principal's office, his parents are there, and then te- and he's like, well, what did he say to her?" And the principal says, she was, "I'll tell you that he told me to take my theory and shove up my ass." And the parents are laughing hysterically and are proud of this boy. Heck, if my son did that to a teacher I didn't like either, I'd say, yeah, you and me are going to get ice cream.
You know,
I'll buy whatever that kid wants for like one day.
I could keep going.
After that, Nani starts to express the theory to Gretchen, and then they go out to no, not that. Well, yeah, then they go to the auditorium where they get to meet the guy, and he has paid actors in the crowd. So you remember? I don't know if you remember when we were in high school. We went to a segment where there's kids, where there's people down there and trying to claim like, "How I hate this place," and now they're screaming. They just ran down there.
What?
Do you remember when we were in high school? There was a giant presentation in the gymnasium, and how they tried to call out kids from the crowd that were getting in fights, and then all of a sudden they tried to say like, "Don't worry, we'll be friends together," kind of deal.
No, I did not.
How do you not remember this? Because I do. And I knew they were paid actors because I was like, "You're not even from our fucking school."
It's probably good that I don't remember because it's probably cringe.
It is cringe because I remember this clear as day. Because I remember because one of them sat three seats next to me. I was like,
Well,
"What the
there's a
fuck is?"
very good chance I was at CACC.
This was high school,
And I went to CACC in high
and like
school.
freshman or sophomore year.
No, juniors, you know.
Okay, freshman or sophomore year is when it happened.
Okay.
But yeah, like it was three rows down. I thought he was like an exchange student or somebody new. And all of a sudden he gets in a fight with somebody next to him and then runs down there and then joins this singing group about how we need to be all friends together. I'm like, oh my god, it's just thinking about it now.
Maybe I was sick.
Maybe just thinking about it, I want to just go punch these people.
You know, I was sick a lot in high school.
Yeah, I know, because I didn't see you a lot in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sick a lot from like sixth grade to like sophomore year of high school. I was really sick.
Yeah, again, I didn't get to see you a lot in high school. The only time you and I got to see you more was in college.
Yeah. Well, part of that was also because of CAC.
True. Um, but yeah, Donnie even calls them out and says that, "Are you guys paid actors? Because I don't recognize any of you."
How big is the title thing?
Also, from the iCarly show, Spencer is in that movie too.
I love iCarly.
But yeah, her brother is in this movie.
Huh.
It's kind of weird how many people are in this movie that you don't really recognize till a lot later. Um,
I love iCarly.
then we go to the scene to where Gretchen and Donnie are in the theater. They're going to see Evil Dead.
That's another movie we need to cover.
Yeah, I think they watched the original one, the first one, or whichever one came out in 2001 or something, or 1980. Um, During that, she's asleep, and Frank shows up again,
Okay.
and this is where
So
Frank
this is the
third or fourth time he's met
yeah.
Frank. I think it's the fourth. So this is where he meets Frank again, and he tells Frank to take off your mask. He says, "Why are you wearing that bunny suit?" Frank says, "Why are you wearing that man suit?"
So Frank takes off the head, and
He, it's some character we haven't met yet.
yes, but it's just a normal.
It's just a normal person.
Yeah.
Except for he's got like an eye problem.
Gotcha.
So after that discussion, Frank says, "I want to show you something. Look at the screen." And this is where we actually get to see a wormhole, one of the portals or wormholes that are theories
Now,
into time travel.
in Doctor Who, it's called the vortex.
Yeah.
Because that's how time is all connected through a time vortex.
Okay. And Donnie's always wanted to know how to either find one, summon one, or get to one. And he sees one appear by Frank's control.
Gotcha.
So,
Also, side note, you've seen the intro of Doctor Who, right?
which doctor?
Any Doctor.
Whichever one is the one I like.
The 11th? No, the Tenant.
Whichever one played Crowley in Good Omens.
Tenant. Yeah. So when you see the intro and watch the intro, and you see the TARDIS inside that like circle thing,
Yeah.
that's called the time vortex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So I just wanted to make sure you had that visualized too.
Well, now I see it.
Yeah.
But so the vortex or the portal leads to the what is his name? I can't remember. I can't remember the actor, but it leads to his house. The guy who's trying to tell everybody that there's fear and love. He shows on screen like, "There's his house. You know what to do. Burn it."
Oh, what is his name? Because whose house is he born?
This is where I'm trying to remember his name. It's the guy who died of like a certain disease.
I can't think of it on top of my head either.
Just look up a cast. I can show you who it is.
Jim Cunningham.
Jim Cunningham. So he's the one that every house mom is drooling over in this town.
Yeah.
So yeah, he sneaks off while Gretchen's still asleep, goes to the house, burns it down as all the parents are out at another rally or something. No, they're at a talent show. That's it. Because his little sister is performing.
Schizophrenia. You're right. On his disease.
Oh, so it's good. Okay. After he burns it down the next day, the entire town finds out, and this is where I hate it. They find out that the guy was a pedophile.
Oh, jeez.
He had pornographic pictures of little kids that he has helped or had at his little coven thing.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. So now everybody's like really pissed off and questioning which kid did he mess with at the schools.
Right.
And I couldn't remember. I think it was either Donnie's sister or one of Donnie's sister's friends.
Side note, did you know that there's two male teachers who worked in a daycare got caught being pedophiles?
Where? Here?
It was in a nearby town.
I knew there was one at Bright Begins when we were kids.
Yeah, no. This is like within the past year and a half. So the way they found out.
Do we want this notified on here?
Why?
I didn't know. Did you want that on the podcast or
no? How they got caught?
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I think it's okay. Is it okay?
I don't know. I'd say go for it.
Okay.
I just hope YouTube doesn't get mad at us for this.
They got caught because they sent pictures of kids, inappropriate pictures of kids to parents on accident instead of to each other. Yeah, when my coworker told me, I was like, how dumb do you have to be? Like, obviously, it's not okay, but how come? And I use that app that they use. And it's not easy to do something like that. Like, sending pictures takes 3 different screens.
I'm questioning it, but okay.
Yeah. Sorry, side note, but you just made me think of that.
Okay. Anyway, after that fiasco, that's where I left off this morning because you showed up at my house. So this is where I'm going to go off of memory from when I last watched it about the rest.
Okay.
Because I know we are like at what 1 in 10 minutes. We're a little bit over our usual time.
It's fine. It's holiday special.
Yeah.
People eat like idiots the normal trees.
What happens next? I just know that after that,
I mean, I know what happens at the end. So
I know what happens at the end. So I'm gonna skip ahead because I don't remember the little bits and pieces. I just know that something happens to Gretchen.
she get hit by a car. So
Well, I know she gets hit by a car, but there's something that happens before that, like where it gets to that point.
I don't know.
Like, how did she get hit by the car?
They were in the middle of the road.
They were in the middle of the road. Okay.
Yes. I don't remember why they were in the middle of the road.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to remember why they were in the middle of the road.
And Gretchen gets hit by a car, and Donnie doesn't like that, obviously, because that's his love interest.
That's where this is where it starts on the world ends.
Yes.
Because his world just ends.
Yes. And Donnie shoots Frank.
He doesn't know who Frank is.
He shoots the bunny.
Yeah, he shoots the bunny.
Yeah. Who's Frank?
But we don't. But here's the thing: it's not the Frank. It's Frank, as in the Frank that's from his world.
Also, something else you didn't mention. So these visions that Donnie sees throughout the film, one of those visions sees him going to his dad's safe and getting the gun out.
It's not safe. It's a shoebox.
Okay, shoebox. Well, it is.
It's a shoebox.
Yeah. So like he sees visions of himself doing things.
Yeah.
Inside the future. Yeah. So he shoots Frank, and that's when he realizes he needs to change the timeline, and he sees a jet engine flying over,
and
well, not jet engine, but a jet flying over, and he is able to take one of the jet engines, put it in the past inside the primary.
Yeah, that's where the portal's able to open.
Yeah,
and grab it,
and it falls on his house, killing Donnie.
Yeah.
And the reason he does that is because he wants Gretchen to stay alive.
Donnie kills himself.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. We didn't cover. You didn't cover. Is Frank? Frank is alive at this point. Frank. So we know that Frank in the visions is dead. Frank is actually alive in his world. He's actually his girlfriend's boyfriend, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha.
And they went to a party. Oh, that's right. They were at a party, and she ran out to the middle of the road and gets hit. Frank comes out in the bunny outfit, then see her, shoots him.
Donnie shoots him.
Donnie shoots him. And
now this isn't the Changit timeline.
Yeah, this is where Frank is born, basically.
Yeah.
I don't remember why was his name Frank. I think it was Frank because of license plate was Frank.
Oh, I don't know.
This is where I'm trying to remember as much. But that's what happens, and then Paul comes Engine, and then everything goes back, and then there's a few blips of where everybody's memory from the other world comes to them, and they remember, like, holy shit, this just happened.
They realize, but they also don't realize either.
Yeah, because Gretchen gets a little bit of a glimpse of, like, holy crap, I knew this boy.
Yeah, and she gets, like, sad for a moment, and she doesn't really fully realize
why. She doesn't know why. And the parents start having that feeling as well.
Yeah.
Like, everybody he impacted in the other world are now impacted in this timeline.
Yeah, in the primary universe.
Yeah. It really messes with you a little bit, because that's a little bit of a butterfly effect right there.
Yeah. It's not really something that gets explored a lot, too. Like how
that is a common theory if you mash up all timelines. Especially if you take, like, the DC universe, how there's different worlds, mash them all in one. Like, some realities, like, merge with each other. Because if you look at Flashpoint and the Flash TV show, when everything came together, few people who have, like, a Batman t-shirt are like, I don't even know who the fuck this is.
I don't watch the Flash.
Okay, well, they also explain it in Rick and Morty. So, in Rick and Morty gets, like, a time machine, constantly goes back in time, meets this girl, builds a relationship with her, they go on a trip, they end up in, like, in the mountains, and he's got a time that mission. I'm gonna go back and save us. Tries to push the button, resets all the way back to where he first met her instead of a few moments before the crash. And he tries to explain everything, and everything falls apart.
Gotcha.
And he's like, I know you're the love of my life. I'm trying to tell you about all this. And she doesn't believe it. She thinks he's psycho. So
Fail.
he breaks the machine, and then all the dead Mortys or whatever realities that he killed off are piling up, and everything's collapsing. Rick mashes all the worlds into one, and she gets the memories of everything that just happened.
Gotcha.
So that's a theory I can kind of believe in
Um,
if you were to do that.
that's a that's something that doesn't get really explored a whole lot. Is different how different universes can be connected. That's always interesting.
There's possibly a parallel universe to ours.
Yes, but yeah, I'm not saying there isn't.
I mean, heck, there's a theory that the mirrors are a portal to a different world.
See, that just makes me think of the movie Meals.
Makes me think of
You know the movie
a
Meals?
little bit.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Goosebumps? There's an episode on a mirror that there's a whole nother world that if you turn off the lights, turn it back on, you're in the other world, and your other version's in your world, but it's completely
Okay.
opposite. So I can write with the right hand, the other person would be writing with the left hand.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about, Donnie Darko?
I'm good.
Okay. This is the graveyard shift for 2 idiots talk all.
Peace
Peace.
more.